All right, Robert J. Will you be my Valentine? I noticed in a lot of these comments that you're making like little sidelines comments, like from the back. Kind of like you don't really have any argument to present. You don't have any points to make because you wouldn't be able to defend those points if you made them. So it's like you're just standing in the back going, yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right. You tell him. That's right. He's so dumb. He's so ugly. He's so stupid. He's a racist. That's right. You tell him. You tell him, Spike. You tell him. Go on and get him, Javanka. You go get him. You tell him. That's right. You know it, but you're not really actually contributing. And that's irritating to see people do because it's intellectual cowardice. But it's even worse when it's a male. I mean, man, you and I, we're supposed to be the providers and the protectors and the leaders of the culture, man. And you just hiding back in the back going, yeah, yeah, that's right. So here you are saying, Javanka, he refuses to answer. I'm not refusing to answer. I'm clarifying her question. Do you understand what begging the question is? You probably don't, based on what I've seen you say in this discussion thus far. But most people, probably like yourself, you think that begging the question means that a question arises in a conversation, like having a conversation and something is said that makes you think of a question, and you go, well, then that begs the question such and such. That's probably how you use it, because you really don't show a very high level of education and logic in your comments here. But begging the question, that's not what it is. That's a misuse of the phrase. Begging the question is when you ask someone a question that has a baked in implication of something being true that has not been proven logically to be true. Here's an example. If I were to ask you, are you still beating your wife? See, I'm begging the question that at some time previous to that moment, you had been beating your wife. You see, like that. So that's kind of loaded, kind of baked in there. Are you still beating your wife? Begs the question, do you beat your wife? But if I don't want to address the challenge of proving that you beat your wife, well, then I can come out with, are you still beating your wife? And any answer that you give at that point will say that you agree that you were a wife beater, at least at some time in the past, quite possibly still at that time. You see, that's intellectual dishonesty. It's logical dishonesty. And that's what Javanka has done here. When she'd asked how people who were her friends, and I don't know how she defines friends. Javanka and I graduated high school together. She seemed to be a sweet girl in high school, I mean, I got along with her okay. It wasn't like we hung out together or anything, but I knew who she was. We had some classes together. She always seemed to be a sweet girl. So, I mean, I would say, like, if I would have run into Javanka here locally, like if she came home to visit, I'd run into her. I'd be like, hey, what's going on? Hadn't seen you in about 36 years, Good to see you. You're looking good. You're looking healthy. You're looking happy, that kind of stuff. I mean, it wouldn't be like she was a complete stranger to me. And it wouldn't be like she was someone that I knew from the past that I wish to avoid, because I have a lot of those. So, I mean, I don't know how she or you, either one, define friend. Maybe y'all define friend as, quote, someone who goes along with everything and agrees with everything I says and doesn't cause me any discomfort at all. Maybe that's what you call friend. And if that's y'all's definition of friend, then I guess I'm not a friend. But she's asked her friends, how is it that y'all can support the current political leadership, given all of the work that they've done to demean and disrespect and disregard people who aren't white? Basically, that's a paraphrase of what she's saying. So she's begging the question that the Trump administration is doing things, putting policies and practices, as that Will dude said, in place that's intended to harm people who aren't white. That the Trump administration is doing things for the purpose of negatively affecting non-white people for no other reason than the fact that they are non-white. Okay, that simply isn't true. It's like I explained to that other girl, that Shannon, Gerald, whatever lady. It's like I explained to her, they've done things with policies and such that had an adverse effect on some people who are not white. But those same policies also had very positive effects for people who are also non white. So it's impossible to say that those things are some sort of a racist policy intended to harm non white people if it's not done for the purpose of that, and if those policies also benefit non white people who have actually gone by the rules and are doing what they're supposed to do. See? So for Javanka to say, how can you reconcile being my friend when the Trump administration is doing all this stuff to hurt black people? Not doing stuff that ends up inadvertently affecting some people who aren't non-white, but he's doing all of this stuff to hurt non-white people for the purpose of hurting non-white people. So before I even engage in how I reconcile that, I need to know what policies she's talking about. But she's not giving them to me. And you're not either. At least that Shannon Gerald, what's her name lady, gave a list of different policies. They were bullshit, but at least she gave them, so I was able to respond to her claims. I was able to answer her. I can't answer the question as Javanka has it because she's begging the question that there are policies he's doing to hurt non-white people. I've spent my life, if Javanka will think back far enough to remember who I am back when I was only 185 pounds, I took the long way to class many, many, many times because I was such good friends with non-white people. Okay, I was the one regularly, if I wasn't being called the F word referring to homosexuals, if I wasn't being demeaned and bullied for that, I was being demeaned and bullied as an N-word lover because I had so many friends that were not white. And in the 1980s, I guess that was unusual. Okay, so this idea that you seem to have here that I'm some kind of a white racist redneck because I support Trump and because I want to engage with their question is born out of your own ignorance of me and my history and your ignorance of the proper use of logic and rhetoric. So I'm asking Javanka to clarify what policies she claims that there are policies in place by the Trump administration that were put there for the purpose of harming non-white people. I'm asking her what they are. And she hasn't told me. She's only done what people who are begging the question and playing little reindeer games do. She switched over to emotion. She's tried to pivot to a red herring argument about religion, about why Trump wasn't even praying at the National Prayer Breakfast. Trump's not a Christian. I've had that argument with my fellow conservatives since his first term, when they were posting all these things about him walking with Jesus and Jesus standing behind him in the Oval Office and Trump being God's man and all that bullshit. I argued with them back then that was idolatry and it was blasphemous and that Trump wasn't even a Christian. So how in God's name is he supposed to be God's chosen man? I argued that with my fellow conservatives. Why'd I argue with my own fellow conservatives, people that agree with me mostly politically? Because it's about truth and principle with me. It's not about winning the argument. It damn sure ain't about people like you and Javanka or anybody else thinking I'm some kind of great guy. Dang, such a good guy. No, it's about standing on truth, and it's about living my life according to my principles, not just to win the argument. So yeah, he refuses to answer. I haven't refused to answer. I've asked her to clarify her question, and she hasn't done it. You know why she hasn't done it? Because all she knows, and probably all you know, is what the Democratic Party, the progressives and the liberals over there on that side of the aisle have told y'all to believe. They've told y'all that he's a racist and he's put all these policies in place that are in place just for racist reasons, just to hurt non-white people and just to advance the white supremacist and all that kind of stuff. They've convinced you there's a boogeyman in the closet or there's a boogeyman hiding under your bed, and y'all just go racist, Nazi, fascist, Trump bad, big orange man bad. But you can't say a damn thing about any of the policies or the laws or the stuff that he's put in place that's put in place just to keep non-whites down, just to harm the non-whites, and just to advance white people. You can't tell me what those policies are. You know why? Because they don't. They don't do that. They haven't done that. Y'all just pull it out. Well, you didn't pull it out of your ass. The media, the liberals, the progressives, the leaders of the minions over on the left, they pulled it out of their ass and y'all just lapped it up. Oh yeah, racist, racist, racist. This is good. Can I get some hot sauce with that racism? That's basically what you've done. So I'm just asking you, what policies is it that I'm supposed to be having to reconcile in order to remain something, whatever Javanka calls a friend? I'm asking you what policies those are. Do you have any of those policies? No, you don't. If you do, please tell me what they are, and I'm happy to respond to that question. All right? That's the way I am because I'm Dane.